Guys, welcome. That is to hashtag live with Adriano Visagie. I'm super excited because today we get to chat. That is with Kulan Ganes. Yeah, we having some a bit of a light issue here, but other than that, I'm super excited. So if you are joining us right about now, please do share this video. There's a share button somewhere on your screen, maybe on the top or the bottom, or alternatively just get to show some love, and maybe also whilst you live with us, just get to ask Kulan any question whatsoever. So today's live, maybe if we just Oscar winner, who has starred in the film of Mad Max in terms of her makeup artistry. She's also done a lot of local and international work, having worked on Namibia's first Netflix production, which is Bahu The Giants, and of course also Encore. So she's done tremendous work. So let's just quickly get to find Kulan and find out where she is. So let's quickly see. Kulan, and please remember, if you are joining us live, show some love. There's like a love button, and ask questions. Please drop questions. Get to show some love as well. I'm excited. I don't know why I'm nervous. I'm sounding a little bit nervous, but I think it's just the excitement because Kulan has done tremendous work. I've worked with her in terms of her makeup artistry. She does an incredible job. So let's see. Let's quickly get to invite Kulan as well. So also for you joining in now thinking, what is Live with Adriano about? It's all about getting thespians and everybody behind the scenes, everybody that never has the opportunity on a production,
Hi.
whether it be film or theater, the opportunity to also. So let's see, Kulan. Hello. Finally.
Hi, everybody.
How are you, my darling?
I'm good. I can't complain. It's a Sunday after all.
It's a Sunday. You looked all
Yes.
dolled up. Thank you so much for dressing up.
Baso. Asiti honor kantine. If you see the bottom, you will not say
Yeah,
I'm just up.
that's how we do lives. We only do the top part because that's the only part
Yes.
that's being seen, right?
Well, COVID taught us that we don't have to dress up all the time
All
on the
the time,
screen.
exactly.
Yeah.
Kulan, how have you been?
Um, at the moment, I'm tired. I want the year to end. I want it to end. I want to go on a holiday. I just want to chill,
Yeah,
basically. But also, you have to do your part for whatever
exactly.
else you're involved in. So we continue.
Yeah. In
Yeah.
Afrikaans, we say kapan.
Skap aan, ons skap aan. That's the word I
Or it's
learned in
kapan.
Cape Town when I was studying. Ons skap net
Yeah,
aan.
kapan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kulan, we've been cupping and the year, and especially the second year. As creatives, we've never thought. Everybody thought, okay, COVID was just going to be like a 28-day a month thing, and boom,
Yeah.
here we are. We're finding ourselves in spaces and places where we've never
18 months
imagined
and
ourselves to
counting.
be. Exactly. So
Yeah.
let's talk about how COVID has affected you as a creative.
Um, oh, wow. Where do I even start? Because,
Mm.
being alive on Earth for 35 years, I never thought I would be living through a whole pandemic.
Yeah,
Um, we always thought that pandemics were for the olden days, where people did not have
yeah,
proper doctors or medical care and things like that. But then this
right.
thing just came and wiped all of us. And
Mm.
it did affect the industry, the creative industry, more than anything. Well, also the tourism industry, but we also on the same level. So basically, let me first say I'm very grateful that I could still survive financially in a time where most people could not.
Right.
And I'm grateful, and I thank the universe for it.
Mm.
There were times when there was a lot of uncertainty in my career and all of those things. But then penciled casting was born out of a whole COVID. So
Right.
it was not all bad.
Yeah.
Um, COVID also made me realize a little few things about my industry and how people
Mm.
work, and it taught me a lot of lessons, which I
Right.
think was very important for us to actually know as an
Yeah.
industry and as a society as a whole.
Mm.
So it wasn't all bad, apart from the constant anxiety of having to worry if you're gonna pass away tomorrow.
Exactly. So that
Yeah.
worrying is there. And first and foremost, I need to just there's so many things I want to congratulate you for. I want to maybe let's start with pencil casting because it's one of those little babies that was born from things that you've worked so hard for. You know, everybody who has worked on a production knows a Kulan. And when there's a Kulan on a production, you know it's a kick production, you know? So, first and foremost, congratulations
Thank
on pencil
you.
casting. What
Yeah,
is pencil
thank you.
casting for those who don't know? You know, for the longest time, I've always said, you know, I want to be part of a casting agency as a creative. But here we are,
Yeah.
we have a pencil casting. Tell us a little bit about pencil casting.
Um, so basically, casting agencies are agencies that collect people to be either in an advert or a movie or a print shoot, a lifestyle shoot, and stuff like that. So basically, how it happened, it started off as agencies that I worked with asking me, do you know somebody that could do this thing? Or do you know somebody that could post like this for a photo? Or do you know somebody that has blonde hair? Or, you know, stuff like that. So I
Right.
started collecting people for them on a free basis because I was always on the productions as a makeup artist and a wardrobe person. And
Yeah.
then eventually, Tufik from Advantage actually said, you should start your own agency
Yeah.
and then let people pay you for it. And I was like, well, I never really thought about it that way. And
Mm.
then, yeah, COVID hit and I had time to actually sit down, write out a proposal. I didn't even know where to start. I didn't even have a idea of the process or anything, but then Google was my friend.
Yeah.
So pencil casting doesn't really work like all other casting agencies all around the world. Basically, we are more
Right.
focused on print and adverts and photo shoots and movies. We don't really do that much. Maybe we do like for movies, maybe like the total background where people don't have to have
Mm.
real acting experience. So pencil
Right.
casting places people, normal everyday people,
Right.
on adverts to basically do what they would normally do at their house, like
Yeah.
banking or buying airtime or finding insurance. So it's basically
Yeah.
for every single person. It's not just for people that have acting experience. But I
Yeah.
also feel that it is a stepping stone for people that actually want to see how comfortable they are in front of the camera and
Mm.
if they've got it in them to actually become actors or try to pursue a career. So it could be a stepping stone for anybody that wants to follow in, let's say, Viola Davis's footsteps. I
On
know
there.
you love
Yeah.
her.
Yeah. Since you
I met
mentioned
her, by the
TOEFL and I
way.
saw,
She actually
yeah,
waved at me one day, Viola
yeah,
Davis, at the back in 2017.
yeah. So you just mentioned TOEFL now, and I see Caroline is also online from the Advantage. So just sending a shout out to Caroline, to
Hi,
Roya, as well
Carolina.
as to Jojo. Yeah. An amazing woman, love to bits. Kulan, you know you mentioned makeup, and you know everybody knows you from makeup, but where did that makeup just start? Like, did you just magically wake up one day and say, you know what, this is what I want, this is what I want to do? How did that makeup journey for you start?
I don't know if my mom is listening, but I might get into trouble for this.
Yeah,
But I always wanted to either be a makeup artist or a beautician. That was
right,
one of my two careers that I've always had. Oh, and also a journalist, which was totally different from all the other things. But
right.
my mom said to me, "You can't be a journalist; you get killed." Apparently, I'm too honest, so I get killed. So I could not do that. So I had two other options. But then she also said to me, I used to be a rebel when I was a teenager. So
Woof,
she
woof.
said to me, Kom ons los die storie by 'n ander dag. So when she in my high school days, she said to me, if you pass your grade 12,
Yeah,
doesn't matter where you want to study, doesn't matter what you want to study, you can go study whatever you want and I'll pay for it as long as you pass.
right.
And I was like, okay,
Wow.
cool. And then I passed. And then I applied. No, I first applied for the school. Obviously, you know, most the system worked that way. You apply for the
Yeah,
school, you only find out your results in January, and then only you go study.
yeah,
So yeah, I found out my results, applied for this college in Cape Town, Prestige. It was their pilot year for to doing
yeah.
a makeup course. So yeah,
Right.
I packed my bags in the February of 2005 and went to Cape Town and studied.
Wow.
Not even knowing. I did not even do proper research about this industry that I'm coming into. I even had options of people asking me, "Don't you want to just stay in SA? There's no real work in Namibia." And I was just like, I'm going back.
Mm-mm.
Something will happen.
Yeah. Home is
Yeah.
home.
So home is home, you know.
Yeah.
So then I came back, and yeah, the rest is history, I guess. Well,
Right.
yeah, what history?
Yeah. Kulan, I don't want to say fast forward, but
Mm,
you've worked on amazing productions. I know 2 years ago, you and I worked on a production just when COVID hit,
mm,
where you also did makeup. But I want to talk about the blockbuster films that you've worked on, that being Bahu and the Giant, who is Namibia's first Netflix production on Netflix. And you've worked on Mad Max.
yeah.
Tell us a little bit about, the transition of working on that landscape of type of film versus
Mm.
that of Bahu and the Giants, and just what that means for you, because that has also rightfully earned you a BAFTA award. So tell us a little bit about that.
So basically, Mad Max just when I found out that they're coming to work in Namibia, it was quite weird for me because I was just like, okay, cool, this is the biggest film that is being done since I finished my studies because I've done all
Right.
the little things.
Right.
And um, there's actually, I don't think there's really a connection apart from the way things are done, like shooting and set etiquette and things like that. But
Right.
Mad Max was on a scale of, yo, I couldn't fathom that whole film. Like literally, there were like 2,000 crew members on
Wow.
one film for six
Wow.
months,
Wow.
and it was huge, and I was so out of place. I didn't even know what was I doing? What was I doing? So I started on Mad Max as a assistant to an
Mm.
assistant, like let's say
Wow.
on the lowest level. For
On the
6 months,
lowest
I did
assistant
that.
level.
Yeah, the lowest assistant, because on form says people have assistants and assistants have assistants and assistants have assistants.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was quite a experience, and because I did so well in the Soccermund part of the shooting, I ended
Hmm.
up having to go to Australia for the reshoots. So where they shot
Wow.
the beginning of the movie and the end of the movie. So
Wow.
when I went to Australia, I thought, oh, I'm just going to be an assistant again. But no, then
Yeah.
I became the crowd room coordinator. I did not
Oh,
touch one
wow.
single makeup brush for those 3 months I was in Australia. Literally,
Oh,
I
wow.
didn't do anything. I just coordinated. I just said, you do this, you do this, you do this. And then
I
constantly,
just want to snap to
George
you.
or PJ in my ears being like, we need this cast members, we need this cast members. So it was quite crazy.
Yeah.
Bahu and the Giants has been one of the best Namibian productions I've really worked on. Florian,
Hmm.
I will take my hat off for that man. Florian, Gurley, Andy, they really put together a very wonderful, wonderful production. The experience, the way we worked with the crew. Little Camilla. Camilla
Hmm.
was like I was like her chaperone. We slept in the same
Yeah.
tent. I made sure she had a shower. I made sure she had food, and
Oh,
it was
lovely.
quite
Yeah.
raw to see because Namibian kids don't really go into acting that much, but it was quite raw to see
True.
Camilla's transition from just being Camilla, from just being Camilla to going
Hmm.
into Baku. It was such a beautiful
Yeah.
experience. I will definitely, that is one of my best Namibian productions I've worked on. So
With
yeah,
her. Yeah.
there's no comparison. I cannot compare the two.
Yeah.
The experiences were
Mm.
totally different from each other. So
Right.
yeah.
And I just love how you speak about Bahu and the Giants, because I keep watching it, I keep talking about it, because
Mm,
it's a production that I think every Namibian should be proud of. It's a
mhm,
short film that's currently on Netflix, and I say it with so much pride that I've not contributed to it, but I think my contribution, and I think every Namibian's contribution, should be
mm.
that of saying, guys, please go watch this,
Please go
just to pick
watch
up the
this.
numbers. But
Yes,
exactly, but just for the sole purpose of what the film is about.
yeah, and
Kulan,
how brilliant
are
it
we there?
is. How brilliant is it?
Yeah,
It is so brilliant. I can't
yeah.
stop talking about it. It's so brilliant.
Exactly. I want to ask you, you've done makeup in theater, you've done makeup in film, you've done makeup in tunnels, you've done if I can attest to where you've done makeup, what has
Yes.
been that moment where you're like, but and I know we spoke about this, where you're like, but
Mm.
listen, my mom actually said, my child, please go study to be this. But yeah, she decided to become a makeup artist. What has been that surreal moment where you're like, I can't do this no more, but yet we love what we do?
Um, 2 a.m. in the
Mm.
morning, have cover people with blankets because they went into the. Oh, sorry. Can I say fucking? No, I did not say that. Blib, blib. Yeah.
Okay.
But having to cover people because they went into the ocean in Ludres at 2 a.m. in the morning. It's dark on the Red Sea diving resort. That was just like a moment for me, like, why are we doing this? Why are we here? It's
Yeah.
cold, it's windy, it's wet. We literally have to like go get the kids out of the water. We are also wet. They are wet.
Yeah.
Like, and then most scenes don't just end. They don't just take one take. They take 20 of one thing. So it is just, oh
Exactly.
my God. That was a
Yeah.
moment when I was like, yo, I must really love this thing.
Yeah. Kulan,
Yeah.
I can attest to that because it's this thing within you that you can't describe it to someone. It's like
No, no, no,
vibranium when
no.
it comes to artistry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I want to ask you, do you feel that artistry is valued in Namibia? And maybe when I ask that, do we really appreciate the type of art we create? You've been on different sets. You've seen productions that have been on screen on performing stages. Do we, as Namibians and creators, really value each other and the country as a whole?
Um, let's say there is definitely more appreciation for art now than
Mm,
when I started. But we definitely still have a lot of long way to go to get to where Nollywood is or Hollywood is or even South Africa, by the way. So the value is there, but I think people are not also because our let's say should I say our financial demographic, or what should I call it, is quite large, and a lot of
mm,
people in Namibia live in real poverty where they don't have access to art.
mm,
Like kids in the north that don't have access to paintbrushes because either but they want to become artists, or they
right.
don't have a phone to film themselves,
Mm,
but they want to become directors and stuff. So
mm,
the appreciation is there in the community of arts, but the
yeah.
appreciation from the community as a whole, as a country as a whole, is not enough.
Mm,
It's still on a
yeah.
level of like, let's say 20% of Namibians actually do appreciate Namibian art or
Yeah.
art in general. So the community, the arts community, the film community, the arts council, the National Arts Gallery, and people that are involved in making films and stuff, we have the
Right.
appreciation, but we need to take it out there for more
Right.
people to appreciate it, and also to realize that actually we can make a living out of this.
Right.
It's art is not always just about as much as it is about passion, it should
Yeah.
also be something that will create some kind of revenue for you, because then
Exactly.
you know what is the word saying that they say, work at what you love and then you don't have to work a day in your life, or something
Yeah.
along those
It
lines,
says,
you
do
know.
what you love and you don't have to work a day in your life.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%.
And I'm so intrigued by what you just mentioned now, because just a very simple example, when you look at the history of Namibian art and creativity, you've got an artist like, for example, John Mwafangeo, who was one of the first people that painted in black and white. And, through his journey of working with missionaries and navigating his sexuality and navigating artistry, he could not comprehend it in words, but he did it through painting. And this is an Avambo man whose appreciation, and I feel personally, as Namibians, we don't appreciate his art. His art is not being sold, nor is revenue going to his family. So it
Mhm.
places us in this situation where we're like, okay, cool. If Kulan is not going to be here in the next 5 to 10 years, who's going to continue with her legacy? Who's going to
Mhm.
continue with what she has started? And we will
Mhm.
appreciate that as creatives to then say, but tomorrow, the next CEO is taking over pencil casting. You understand?
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah,
Kulan,
that is very true.
yeah. Do you want to say something on that?
Um, um, n- I think it would just be more if people, if we as the artists do bring the training and the support to the small
Mm,
communities. We have to take it there because I don't think somebody that's not in the arts industry, we cannot expect the Ministry of Arts and Culture to do
mm,
it. We, as the artists, have to go to the Ministry of Arts and Culture and say, "This is what we want you to do."
mm,
We need to give them a plan. We need to tell them,
yeah.
this is what we want to do as artists. We want to take our art and go train the kids in the north or in the south or
Mm,
on the east or the west, and just to build that society that is not also so centralized. We are so
right.
centralized. We are really stuck in Windhoek. So we as
Mm,
the artists have to do the due diligence to bring the art to other people. More people that know about art, the more appreciation there will be for art.
right. So just sort of
Mhm.
decentralizing and saying, government, please, whatever's happening in Windhoek, sort of disseminate this information in the
Yes.
south, in the north, to the east, in the west. Because I'm going to
Mhm.
be angry with you, and maybe just debate with you, because I feel the times have changed where we've constantly thought that music is art. There's so many
Mhm.
different forms of art, and
It
when
is.
you speak of art, everybody just thinks, oh, it's just a
Or music.
musician. Yeah,
Or a
it's just
painter.
exactly where there's so
Mm.
many different facets of who we are as creatives,
As
right?
artists, as creatives, yeah.
Yeah. Kulan, moving into this, and I'm not sure where this is the idea of pencil casting. Let's talk
Mm.
about royalties in Namibia. It's something that I feel is such a big thing. It's
Mhm.
a thing where I think musicians have been struggling now for years. We've seen this
Mm.
either with the music awards that we've had, or we've
Mm.
seen it with albums being released in terms of royalties
Mhm.
being paid out by certain institutions. Let's talk about royalties when it comes to my picture on a billboard, or my
Mm.
voice on an advert, or my face
Mm.
on an Instagram live like this. Uh, is royalties a thing in Namibia?
No.
Mm.
No,
How do we change that?
we do not at the moment, we don't have any regulation for for royalties to be paid to anybody. Basically, there is a process, but it is, like you said, musicians have been struggling with it for years and years and years now. And now
Mm.
only as we are growing to like shoot more adverts that actually have more people, or we have social media like Instagram where we have more people that are active and engaging in things like this and participating in this kind of things. This is now the conversation that pencil casting wants to start. I
Right.
did have a consultation with BIPA when they were doing
Mm.
the copyright laws and things like that. And they told
Right.
me that it is a little bit different with when it comes to royalties and then to the copyright laws and stuff like that. So
Mm.
then they were tabling the copyright laws and they were doing consultations all around Namibia,
Right.
informing people so that they can change the laws. But the
Mm.
process has to first start with somebody that writes it down as to what we need, why royalties must be paid. It needs to be taken to BIPA. BIPA has to take it to Minister of Trade. Minister of Trade has to table it on the parliament, and then only it can come back to us. So the process is on hold at the moment because BIPA was busy with the copyright law, and they said they can only help me or assist me after they have actually done what they were doing. So
Right.
it's on ice right now until at least next year, so that when
Wow.
I can also go back to them and start the conversation again. But obviously, we will have to put together like a, what is the new government word? I'm gonna say this.
Petition.
Task force. They
What's
always
that?
have task force for something, Moss. They have
Oh
a task
wow.
force for.
Yeah. Oh wow.
I'm
I
using
love that.
that word in the most government, what we call it. So we kind of have to put together a task force as an industry, just not as an film and TV industry, but for voices, for billboards, for all of those things. Put them together and take them to the relevant authorities. And then there has to be somebody that constantly would have to drive it. So that to make sure that eventually it is done. But even if we start the conversation now, it will take us a while.
Right.
Before we can actually get to that point where the Minister of Trade or BIPA or the relevant bodies can say to us, okay, cool, guys, you guys have given us this amazing document. You guys can go ahead and we will make sure that the royalty laws are put in place for the people that need to get royalties. So at the moment, we do not have it. Like when I do adverts with South African agencies, they always have royalties because they are what's the word, required by law to pay royalties.
Right.
But
I want you to quickly park that one for now. I want to read something Caroline just said now. She says here, I also think that there is a lack of awareness that art-related work is a real job in Namibia. She also adds to say that, this applies to advertising as well. And she also feels that parents play a very important role in building this perception of, how do we see art as a job and how do we see the creative industry as a job. And I totally agree. I want to read one from Martina that says here, maybe conversation must start right now. What role should the Namibian Arts Council play in this very same process? And that calls for a lot of questions. What role does the Arts Council play? And you were just navigating into the conversation of, what happens in South Africa. So I want to maybe just share a story of a friend who did a Reds advert for an alcoholic beverage. So he literally had 4 seconds in this advert where he just shows the glass and then turns back. And that friend, I'm talking about 5 to 6 years ago, got paid $35,000. And the next year, they came back to him and said, okay, cool, with these images that you are able to share on your social platforms, keep in mind, we want to rerun this advert. And as opposed to paying you $35,000, sales have...
We'll give you $100,000.
Yeah, we are going to drop it a little bit. So does 30 or 32,000, seem okay for you? And I mean, if you've done an advert last year and 30,000 is coming your way, for a 4-second, you showing on a platform, that means, hey, why would I not say yes to a platform like that?
I will pay my rent, I'll pay my car, I'll pay my everything. Do you understand? I had a friend that did an advert 10 years ago. And after she finished the ad, she moved to Europe, and then she came back. And then she got a random phone call from SA, and then she was just like, why, who's calling me from SA? And then the advert that she did 10 years ago has been searching for her for 2 years to give her $100K for something she's done 10 years ago.
Wow.
So if we could have a royalty community, like a royalty committee, not a community, then those would be the things that our artists and our actors and our models would be able to get. And I think it is definitely time that we actually work on that and make sure that it becomes a reality before me and you, get old and have to retire. Let's set it in place for our kiddies that are coming up so that they can enjoy and with that, people will actually start to appreciate art more as well, if you're getting paid enough to make a living out of it.
And maybe if I could add to that, what I've recently of years and most recently I've seen is that I've seen that with local products, we've seen Namibian representation on it, which for me is just amazing. You've got local brands with Namibian representation on it. And that means that it gives this local feel to it. Do you feel that perhaps at a time, because of the different branches we have, hypothetically speaking, if you've got a South African branch of a shop in Namibia, that maybe on a platform like that, you should have Namibian face.
Yes. That is also something that I want to do, because the thing is, all South African shops that have branches in Namibia, I will name them: Pep stores, Edgar's, Jet, clothing stores, food stores, Virgin Active, all of those things. They shoot all of their ads in SA, but then they don't even print their pamphlets in Namibia.
Yeah.
And that should be something that the Minister of Trade should look into and say, okay, cool. If you're going to come and sell your clothes in our country, then at least 30% of your marketing budget should go to Namibian people. So you have to hire a Namibian acting casting agency, a Namibian advertising agency. You have to use a Namibian printing agency. Do you understand?
Exactly.
So
And then although you send out the quality of the type of work you want, you then saying, okay, cool, please
follow,
bring
like
these
a
people.
franchise. Like a
Exactly.
franchise. Just say follow our brief. And then you do
Yeah.
it exactly as we've done it, but you just use a Namibian face. Imagine if you walk past Vernil and you see your face in a whole thing there in Jet stores.
Right.
Imagine. It's just
Exactly.
amazing. It's a nice
Yeah.
feeling to have.
Caroline is watching with her son. We just want to send a shout out to Vincent as well. Can we just
Hi,
wave at
Vincent.
Vincent? Thank you so much. And I think this is so vital. The fact that, Carolina is also teaching her son, we're on this live and we need to appreciate this live. So just another shout out to Vincent as well. Is the Ministry of Trade not doing enough, if I may ask? Yeah.
No. 100%. No. I'm not even going to hesitate. I'm not even going to whatever. I will say no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What more can be done? Because Kulan, I appreciate the fact that one can say this. Your accolades speak for itself. Your accolades speak for itself in the amazing productions you've worked with, but you've also showed up professionally. And when I say that, it's because you are able to navigate. You know what? If I'm working with this type of agency, the next agency will respect me and not really affiliate myself with the next agency because I come and I do what I need to do. Let's talk about the involvement with agencies and being a catalyst to change in Namibia, and especially the artistry.
So I have a few agencies that I work with that are my constant clients that constantly contact me. So the most important part of working with an agency is respect your NDA.
Yeah.
I don't have any NDAs anymore because I don't need to have an NDA, but you need to respect your NDA. That's the first most important part. If you get your brief and you know who's the client, yet they're doing this, what, because agencies are also changing their climate of how their work is changing. So you need to know that you have to keep a secret. If they're shooting for one client, you cannot go and tell the other agencies that they're shooting for that client.
Yeah. Maybe just for those that don't know what an NDA is, NDA that being a non-disclosure agreement.
Non-disclosure agreement. Yeah. So it means you cannot disclose anything about the advert or the movie or anything from the time that you signed it until, well, never basically. You can
until client gives you the green
unless there's the photos out, then you can say, okay, cool, I worked on this. But all in all, you're supposed to keep everything mum until it's time for it to be coming out. Working with agencies is quite difficult because you are also not just working with the agency. The agency is the front man, but you're also working with the client who's here at the background. So you deal directly with the agency, and then the agency deals with the client. So there's always a middleman. So everything has always has to be clear. Things have to be explained properly. Your brief must be so clear that you just get it once and it's done. Sometimes, obviously, we have hurry up and wait kind of projects where we have to do everything, and then all of that. After that, the director is like, "No, but I don't want this anymore. I'm changing it." You need to keep your cool as well. Nah? If somebody says, "Oh, they don't want to use what you've offered them or what you've given them," you must just keep your cool and then continue doing something else to make them be like, "Okay, I will not drop you." They must have that faith in you that you will not drop them. Doesn't matter what the concept is asking for. If you say, I'm going to do this job, you have to honor that agreement and do the job. And if you feel like you're being overwhelmed, you cannot do it, rather let them know beforehand and hand it over to somebody else that can do it. Don't say, I'm going to do something and then do a half type of job, you know?
Exactly. Nobody's in your line of scope in terms of delivery. And if you can't, then so be it. Yeah. Before I get into something major that has happened recently with you, I want to talk about, maybe just rewind again, because you spoke about the Ministry of Trade and we spoke about, this different line of ministries. Do you feel that or maybe have found yourself in a space that if you as a creative stand up and say, you know what, but I'm questioning for example, I've personally said this, I'm questioning the Arts Council, or why the Arts Council have not had an audit for 9 years, or I'm questioning this line of ministry that has an obligation to bring about change in this industry, or I'm questioning whoever's sitting on the board of what, to say, but listen, sir, we all know that you've been messing up, and we are here as a collective. Have you found yourself in a space where you're also just zipping it up because you know, or maybe fear that if I should speak of something that is not right, then that might cost me my next job or my next paycheck?
Ek kan hulle maar die job vat. Because it's true.
Yeah.
Then they should not give me the job, because if somebody is speaking up about something that is good collectively for the industry, because if I'm working with the Ministry of Information, ICT, and then the Arts Council, and they are doing something, or they're doing something that's wrong, or they're not doing their job, they need to be held accountable. We need to be, as a community, be able to go to them and say, but what you are doing is not okay. You guys are underselling us, or you guys are putting this much pressure on us, or you guys are not doing the job that we placed you there to do. We need to be able to tell people this is not okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I think
I have never been in such a
maybe
space.
comes with people not wanting to stick together.
Ooh,
yeah.
This industry. Ha!
Yeah.
Snakes.
People would want to stick together, because I personally am not saying I'm in a privileged position, but having known that I've got an 8 to 5, and you know, I still get to fuel my artistry, and I'm an award-winning actor, I at times feel, what about that artist who's just an artist, who last year only got a 750, but it's been questioned now. You know, there's so much taboo now around the next 750. When you know, a Kulan maybe does makeup, she does pencil casting, she washes shoes, she washes clothes, and does all these other things, as opposed to just being an artist. Let's versus that quick. Let's quickly look at that line of work, because can Kulan tomorrow just wake up and say, guys, I'm the owner of pencil casting, that's my only form of income?
Yes. I'm going to tell you guys something right now. At the moment, I am in a transitional stage where I am really deciding to put my brushes down forever. So, yeah, I've done it for so long, and also because I work in Namibia, I got to that point where I was like, cool, I've done what I had to do. I have created this industry. I have trained people that I can actually contact and say, Venetia, I can call Venetia up at 8 o'clock at night and say, I'm ill, I cannot go to work. And then I call my client and say, Venetia's coming in, I cannot go to work. And I know that she will go out there and do what I would have done, exactly as I would have done. So I am in that transitional stage of walking away a little bit from set more, and then focusing more hardcorely on pencil casting and where I want that to go.
Yeah.
So,
but this is not you saying goodbye forever, right?
I will still be around for the industry, like in other aspects of it, or helping out here and there. But I will not. Makeup has been my full-time job for the past 17 years, I think.
Yeah.
16 years.
Yeah.
And it's time for a change. Or a different focus. A different focus. Let's call it a different focus, not a total change. It's still in the same industry. It will just be something different that I'm doing.
Yeah. I see here Roya sending a smiley, teary face. Because that's how I feel. Literally, my energy just went from.
No, guys. I will still be here. I will just not be actively involved on set work.
I understand. Kulan, a couple of months ago, I heard you do an interview on radio, and you mentioned something so interesting, and I felt that that interview was sort of a manifestation for the question that I perhaps maybe always get in terms of how do I get into the industry? How do I step
Mm.
into the industry? And you answered and you said that it is such a small industry, and having to get into it requires, for example, like you said, on Mad Max, you were the assistant to the assistant to the assistant. And then boom, next production gets you this bigger opportunity. Do you feel that there's a sense of entitlement with new creatives where perhaps they feel that, you know what, my following on social media is X
Mm.
amount, and when I step on set, you should know who I am? Or is there that I- wait, I'm trying to
Dependence
understand
with
and find the right
Oppo.
words. I'm trying to understand and find the right words because I've come across a lot of that, and perhaps
Mm.
finding yourself on productions where you know you find someone that is really young and in the industry, and you see potential, but there's just not that humility of where you're able to say, "But I want to work with Kulan tomorrow again." What's your view?
The thing is, um, if you're arrogant, if you walk onto set and you're arrogant, then you must deliver. You cannot just be there. You cannot just be like a peacock with your feathers out and not doing anything.
Hmm.
You need your arrogance should be accompanied by your ability to do the job.
Right.
Then we will excuse your arrogance. But if your arrogance just comes there for, oh, you just want to come take snaps and call people over and be like, make me tea, what, then you will not make it. You will not make it. Arrogance must be accompanied by an ability to do the job. You must
Hmm.
be able to do the job. Then you are allowed to be arrogant.
Yeah.
But if you are not able to do the job, you cannot be arrogant.
Right.
Because then you're like a sack of potatoes just sitting there and rotting.
Hmm.
Do you
Wow.
understand? You
I
you
hear
you
you.
should be able to do that. Um, and yes, young people do have a lot of arrogance, especially when they come out of college and they're like, oh, I've shot this music video. Hello, I worked on Kick It, Gaza's music video. First
Yeah.
ever production that I did in the middle of Evelyn Street. It was hot, the sewage was running, and I had a massive ass bag that I was pulling around. Nobody helped me. I didn't get into this industry because of arrogance. I got into this industry
Hmm.
because I know what I'm doing,
Hmm.
and what should I say? I'm good at my job, and
Yeah.
I was humble.
How do we then protect the industry? Because clearly, if anyone can step up and say, but I'm also a makeup artist and I've worked
Mm.
on a certain film, then that person would equate themselves to you. Uh,
Trust me, in these instances, rubbish does take themselves out.
yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
in this film industry, you
Yeah.
will be removed. No, nobody will remove you. Like you say, oh, I'm not gonna. You just need to do one job that's shitty, then you're out.
You're right.
Because everybody talks. Yeah, you are out. In this
Yeah.
industry, everybody talks to everybody, and
Mm.
we are small. We are so small. If you do some one bad thing somewhere else and somebody else finds you, they will be like, oh, but the other day, Adriano said, no, we must not work with Kulan because she
Mm.
did not deliver what she promised.
Yeah.
And then from there on, you will have to start doing your own projects or you need to tone yourself down. But like I
Yeah.
said, the rubbish does take themselves out.
Absolutely. I want to also just
Yeah.
send a shout out to Girly who's tuned in. She says here, I'm so proud of both of you, Kulan and Adriano. Here's to growth. And I see she's toasting with champagne. I hope that's real champagne,
Yay!
Girly. Because, yeah. Also, we are so proud of Girly. Girly last year won that is Best Actor Southern Africa, and overall actress at the Sotigi Awards. So well done to Girly. And yeah, we know there's
Congrats.
big things happening with Girly now, so we're keeping fingers crossed as well for everything as well that is happening. Yeah. Kulan, where to next for you?
Holiday.
Sorry.
Adriano, I
Wait,
really, I
wait.
really,
You know, you are the most truest and honest person. Um, wow.
I'm
Okay.
done. I am tired.
Yeah.
I don't actually, the future, it can stay there. It will stay there. I will get to
Yeah.
that. Now
Okay.
at this moment, I'm working to
Yeah.
get enough money together to go on a holiday. I want to go to
Yeah.
England, and I saw Andreas was on set. Is he on the
Yeah.
thingy? Oh, he is there.
Yeah.
Andreas, I'm coming to visit you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
So yeah,
Opa
no, I
says
just want to
here,
go on holiday.
it's Opa says it's holiday wood. So
Yeah.
holiday wood. We all yeah
Holiday.
we see Hollywood very soon. Where do you see our industry in the next few years? You know, obviously with a lot of growth recently, we've also which was a major thing for film is a Oscars committee that was chosen by the Film Commission.
Mhm.
We've seen the influx of productions. Having read last year how many productions, unfortunately, they had to be cut due to COVID. But we're seeing we're
Yeah.
picking up again in terms of Namibian films and Namibian productions. Where do you see the industry in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, we have a lot of stuff to clean up.
Mm,
That is true. We need to focus more on training, like especially actors training.
mm,
For us to actually, for us to actually, it's really great that we are on the Oscars. We are going to be part of. We will be able to submit films for the Oscars, but we
mm.
cannot also just make films because we're going to go to the Oscars. We
Yeah,
need to make good quality films
films.
that
Yeah,
tell Namibian stories. We should not make films that are going to try and follow Hollywood, because there is
right.
that part. There is our uniqueness. That
Yeah,
part that we can tell our own stories. That's our uniqueness.
yeah.
It's not done anywhere else.
Mm,
But we need to start a lot of training.
mm.
I'm happy that we're going to have Oscar submissions and stuff, but we need to work.
Yeah. I
Like we
think
need to
now more
work
than ever, do you feel
professionally.
that we sort of need to, I don't want to say take a pause break, but there
Mm,
seems to be a sense of, can we maybe first get the house in order? Uh, uh,
exactly.
you know,
Exactly.
to say, can we cut out all these unnecessary, you know, crap that we're busy with and really
Mhm.
say, this is the way we're steering it. This is where an actress can register. This is where a makeup artist, we involving the entire industry and we standing
Mm,
together as a cohesive. Because
mm.
I'm going to be honest with you, as an actor in Namibia, it still feels like there's a us and a them, as opposed to be saying there's a
Us.
cohesive
Mm,
Namibian industry, there's a cohesive us. I mean, you look at so many Namibian actors and actresses that are making it
mm.
big, but are we celebrating them to say wholeheartedly? We are celebrating that creative. I mean, I'm talking about, you know, Zenobia Kloppers, who just recently, you know, appeared on
Was
Arend's
on
Play
Philadelphia.
and on
Mm,
Netflix with Blood and Water.
mm.
But are we as Namibians coming to the forefront to say, well done? You know, Delish, who just made it big in Nollywood on a series. You know, you, Girly, uh, the creative industry is growing. So are we really, you know, saying, well done, Kulan?
No, there is since I started in this industry, there's always been an essence of envy. Does not
Mm.
matter whether we're in the same industry, people hate on each other
Mm.
constantly and continuously, and
As
um,
small as we are?
because you know why I think that happens is because we are so tiny that most of my friends are industry people.
Mm.
Most of your friends are industry people. Yes, you do still have other friends, what. But most of the people that you spend most of the time with are film
Yeah,
industry or the arts industry people, the community. And
right.
there's a lot of gossip going around. There's a lot of backstepping going around. There's a lot of envy going around. So
Mm.
people are reluctant to celebrate somebody else if they are not in it.
Yeah.
It's always a thing of push my thing. But then when somebody else is doing something great, nobody does it.
Mm. Oh, that is so
So
powerful.
It's sad. It is
Yeah,
so horribly sad, and it's not gonna work for us if we are
yeah,
not together. We must
exactly.
stop
And
being.
similar to saying, Kulan is doing makeup on a international production, and then I sit
Mm,
here as a makeup artist thinking, but oh, why did Kulan get that gig? As opposed to celebrating her to say, you know what, it's
yeah.
been a tough 2 years. Maybe
Mm,
let's just celebrate Kulan. At least the industry
yeah.
is growing and we're working.
Mm. So
Yeah.
yeah, because if you're gonna say, "Oh yeah, why did Kulan get that job?" Did you do your utmost best to get that job? You could have gone to Kulan
Mm,
and said, "Oh, Kulan, next time if there is something, here's my resume, here's my portfolio. If you need assistant or if you need an extra hand or something, could you please put me in?" Instead of sitting there and being like, "Oh,
yeah.
she got it again." Why? Who does that help? Doesn't help anybody.
Exactly.
It does not.
Yeah. Kulan, it's almost time for us to say goodbye. It just feels like this conversation started.
What?
What's your,
Is it an
yeah,
hour already? Oh
almost,
no.
yeah.
Wow.
Wow, yeah,
8 more
time
minutes.
flies. There's something you mentioned in terms of decentralizing information. We need to start decentralizing art. I feel, and I'm an
Mm,
advocate for that. I'm always an advocate for collaboration, and that being the
mm,
north, the east, the south, the west, wherever we can possibly
mm,
decentralize. And maybe if we say that most of our friends are creatives, then these creatives, if I say, oh no, Kulan comes from Mariental, why is,
mm.
as a friend, I need to hold her accountable to say, but what are you doing with with
In
with with
Marintal.
in Marienta? If if
Mm,
if if I'm able to say, okay, no, but Opas comes from Swakop or Girly comes from Caprivi, why is
mm,
Girly not, sort of empowering then the young women in her
mm,
region, whether it be it in whatever manner they possibly can. And I think that calls for us as creators to really sit
mm.
back and do a lot of introspection in the work
Yes.
that is upon us. Yeah. Any
Mm-hmm.
last words from you? This has been such an amazing interview. Honestly, it just
Mm.
felt like we were having water
I
and
don't think
just
the
getting our
time was
glow
enough.
on. Sorry.
I don't think the time was enough.
Yeah, somehow someone just cut the time.
Yes. Any last words? We need to, as an industry, not lose faith. I know at
Mm,
the moment people's morals are down,
mm,
and it is because of so many other different things, but also because of the fact that we do not see the industry as something that will be sustainable for the rest of the future.
yeah,
But we are, me, you, Girly. I've known Girly since we started in the industry 16 years ago.
yeah,
Um, we are proof. We are proof that it is possible.
yeah,
It is possible for you to be able to live on an artist lifestyle.
right,
So people should stop giving up, and people should stop complaining and actually doing the actual work.
right.
We need to start standing together as an industry. People should stop
Mm,
stepping on each other. People should stop being envious of other people's success. It is
right.
really, it's not beneficial. It just drains people and makes them feel sad and breaks up the industry that's already so not big enough for everybody.
Exactly. And everybody can
Yeah.
have a piece of the pie, you know?
Yes, of course. The pie is
Yeah,
big enough.
yeah,
The pie is big
yeah.
enough.
Kulan, all the
Yeah.
best. I want everyone who's live now to please go follow Kulan. Please also check out Pencil Casting. It's in Kulan's Instagram bio. An amazing platform that I feel a lot of people, I've not registered yet. Yeah.
I'm waiting for
Yeah.
you.
But pencil casting, an
Yeah.
amazing platform that allows you your gateway to your dreams and your destination. Honestly, that's just how I see pencil casting. Kulan, all the best with your new journey, your endeavors. And thank you so much for dedicating
You
your
must say
time.
it with my holiday.
Yes, yes.
Yes. That is all I want to think about. The
Yeah,
holiday.
there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, your
Thank you so
holiday
much,
and pencil
Adriano, for
casting.
having me.
Thank you so much.
Mm.
Bye
Mwah.
bye.
Bye.